Do, 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 do. Okay. Should be live by now, hopefully. It says we're live. I'm not seeing any audio feed coming up. There it is. All right, so we are live. Final stream before Japan. Again, for the fourth time in like a year. It's crazy. It's been this many trips. Excited to get back to Japan, but also excited to get back to America after the trip. Um, it's going to be a very busy year next year. Um, Not sure how I'm going to manage it all yet. Monetarily, it's going to be probably difficult. Um, Definitely not going to be doing Japan trips every like 3 4 months, like I did this year, because it's like when I file my taxes, I'm going to owe I'm going to owe quite a bit in taxes due to 1099s and uh, also tuition. I'm going to transfer to a different university. I'm going to transfer from college to university, and my financial aid, pretty sure it's not going to cover it all, honestly. So, not sure how much each semester is going to be. I'll just have to see when I get there. But basically, I'm going to be paying out of pocket for whatever financial aid doesn't cover. I'm going to be paying out of pocket to cover the rest, because I'm going to try to avoid taking out any student loans if at all possible. If nothing else, I'll just get a credit card and pay it off at the time. But with me uh, pushing back Japan trips, I'm going to have quite a bit of money left to uh, help pay for tuition. But again, not sure how much it's going to be at university. I know it's going to be more than college, but still not sure how much it's going to be at like each semester. And it should be 4 or 5 semesters, but if I do either a semester or a year, especially a year, if I do a full year in Japan at university, it's going to be quite expensive. And it's probably going to push back me getting my bachelor's at least like a year, because I don't think I'll be doing like the full 12 credits that I'm doing here in the States. I've had 2 semesters where I've exceeded 12 credits, but usually I try to keep it around 12 credits. That's just what I can manage with my time. I've found out generally like how long it takes me each week to do my college work. And whenever I transfer to university, my goal is to only sign up for 12 credit hours each semester that I'm there. Um, so yeah, it's gonna add on at least like one extra semester, possibly two. Just depends, like I said, how many credits I do while I'm in Japan. If I'm able to do that, I'm going to try to do that in 2026. I'm either going to try to do a semester or a full year. Honestly, probably won't be able to afford a full year, because I'm not only will I have to make enough money to pay for university to go to as an exchange student in Japan, but I will also need to pay for my trip there, pay for my living expenses there, and also pay for my bills back in the States, because I have obligations here in the States that I will need to have money for. So doing a full year in Japan, it probably isn't on the cards, honestly, but I would really, really like to do a semester. And if not in 2026, maybe I can squeeze it in like 2027 somehow, even though that's when I was projected to graduate, possibly from university. Yeah, we're just gonna have to see. I'm gonna have to play it as we go along, because I also need to start my TEFL certification. That's gonna be. It's not too expensive. It's like $200 or $300. It would be less, but I wanna go through one of the ones where I can have like a physical paper that says that I did this. I did like 120-hour course. I believe that's the lowest one that a lot of Japanese places want you to have. You don't have to do like the 200-hour course, but I believe the 120-hour certification is pretty much like the minimum that they want you to have. So I'm gonna start on that when I get back from Japan next year. Um, yeah. So my plan was to go back in August next year, because I really love going to Kamiki. I've been to Japan 3 times in August, and every other season outside of that now as well. Next week, I'll finally be there in winter. But yeah, I've gone in August the most, because Kamikit, that's what I go for. Really love going to Kamikit. Gonna try to go back next August, but if it's not on the cards, it's not on the cards. And I would rather delay the trip and not do any more Japan trips next year, not be able to do any, and be able to go to university in Japan possibly in 2026. I'd rather have delayed gratification where I would rather do that as opposed to doing like one or two trips next year. So we're just gonna have to see how things go. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I really need to start saving, and even just beyond like university and college, I really need to start saving for when I hopefully move and start working in Japan, which is sometime around 2027, 2028, probably. I don't think it'll be 2029. Um, but 2027, 2028, that's my goal right now to get to Japan and start like living there. That's the plan right now. So I really need to save for that. I'd love to have like a good amount, like a good solid 15, 20 grand or more saved up before I try to move to another country, because I want to have quite a bit in savings just in case, and I want to have enough for sure, that way I can get back, because I'm not going to make a ton of money. Like, I'll make enough money to live there, but I won't be living lavishly while I'm there. I'll just be getting by on my teacher salary, and I'm going to try to keep up my drawing career. And next year I'm going to start learning how to code more, going to start working on that, and that might be another future job that I would want to do, because I don't know how I'm going to like teaching. I won't know until I hopefully get there and start doing English teaching in Japan. But if that doesn't work out, I want to try like coding in Japan, and I need to start learning how to code as well. So I have some years left to figure it all out, and don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, as they say. I don't want to have everything relying on just being a teacher in Japan and not have any goal after that, because I'm giving up quite a few years to get these degrees. That way I can get a chance to work in Japan. It's not even a guarantee that I'll get a job to work there. So trying to look for the future beyond that. If all else fails, if I don't like living in Japan, if I don't like teaching there, I would just, after a year or two of doing that, I would probably just move back to the States and see about getting a normal job and setting down roots here, and kind of just live the rest of my life. But yeah. But I think I'm going to like it in Japan. I really love the country. I love the lifestyle. I love the culture. It's a lot better than where I am in the States. Definitely as far as crime and the culture. Like dating where I am is absolutely atrocious. Would not wish that on anyone, but dating in Japan, it's easier, honestly. Oh. But yeah, the trip's coming up. Unfortunately, like there's not a lot that I know is going on in like the first 2 weeks of January. Um, Literally, like the day after I leave, it's either a, forget which one it is. It's either a Hyakano or Konosuba like event that is starting up. Like, I leave on the 10th, and like the 11th is when this event starts. So it's quite literally like whenever I went last May, like there was a Roger Federer and Uniqlo collaboration that started up, and they was going to start selling the collection of his clothing and stuff literally the day after I left Japan. So that was, I'm having another situation where it's like that. Also, whenever I went in August this year, there was a Soul Leader event, and I don't think it started like the day after I left. I think it was like 1 week after I left is when this event started, and I couldn't go to the Soul Leader event that's gonna start. Some type of event. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, it was definitely Soul Leader. I don't think it was Okubo's entire line of works that he did. I don't think Fire Force was involved in it, or Boichi, or Biichi, whatever name of like his first 4 volume series was. I don't think either of those was involved. I believe it was just Soul Eater, and they was doing an event for Soul Eater. So I missed out on that, and I'm gonna be missing out on uh, this event that's starting like the day after I leave. Like, I'm pretty sure it was a Konosuba event. I have it in my likes on Twitter, and I just saved it there because I was like, wow, this is a little disappointing. Would have liked to have gone to that, but I haven't seen anything else in my feed. I don't know of any other like anime collabs or events that are going on. I'm sure there's some that are going on. I could check the Anime Center in Shibuya. They always have something going on. That's where I went to the Rent a Girlfriend event, and they always have. There's something going on there all the time. It may not be an anime or video game series that I care about a lot, but they always have something going on there. So I could look into that, see if they have anything going on that I might want to go to. And I'll probably just go around the stores and the shops and stuff and see if they have any like collaborative things going on or pop up shops or events. Go to the Zutayas, Kinokoniyas. Yeah, they don't really do them at the book offs. They have some other stores that do collabs and stuff. I need to get to the Square Enix Cafe. I know they moved it. Like, I walked by it quite a few times before they moved it. It used to be in a really good location. Now I'm not sure exactly where it is. I don't believe it's closed down permanently, but during the pandemic, like, I guess they couldn't afford like the location they had it in. They had it in like a really good location. It was like uh, right in front of like Akihabara station, and it was next to or really close to the Gundam Cafe, because there was the Gundam Cafe and there was the Square Enix Cafe. The Gundam cafes, they're all gone. They all died off during the pandemic, unfortunately. And I believe the Square Enix Cafe just moved. It may have downscaled to like a smaller building, and it's not in as good a location anymore. But I believe it is still around, so that might be something I would look into possibly doing. Might want to try to do that. Um, Not really sure what all else I'm going to be doing. Like I said, I don't know a lot that's going on. My plan is what was I going to do? What was I going to do? What kind of. I had some type of light display that was going on. Oh, yeah, I was talking with my dad about. They probably have some stuff going on in Asakusa for like New Year's. Um, so I might try to go to that, but honestly, I was planning to spend New Year's just in Shinjuku, like in Golden Guy, doing some like possibly some like bar hopping or something, just enjoying the area and going around to like random bars and stuff or clubs or something. That's something I was thinking about doing, but the Sakusa thing is tempting. Either way it goes, I'm planning to stay out most of the night on New Year's. Um, but after that, I still have a lot of days left on the vacation, so not sure what exactly I'm gonna be doing, but we're gonna make it fun nonetheless, even if it's just walking around and sightseeing. I'm sure they have quite a few light displays, and with it being Japan, I'm sure they have tons of festivals just all over Tokyo that are going on right now. All types of like New Year's festivals all over the place. Pretty much every trip I've been on in Japan, like just walking around randomly, I've walked around in like random areas, and I've found like festivals like the uh, the stands and displays, I guess, like that have all the generic, typical like anime stuff that you see, like the booths with like the foods that they always have, like in your anime festival episodes. I've walked into like multiple of those on almost every trip that I've been to Japan, just randomly, and they have like the games you can play, like catching the fish with like the rice paper and stuff like that. The mask, and they always have a display with like a bunch of masks that you can buy. Yeah, there's always something going on in Tokyo somewhere, and I'm sure I will at least walk across some of them because I'm pretty sure it's a good festival season. I'm sure they have a lot of holidays being the New Year's, so we'll just have to see what we can come across. Um, but yeah, I guess that's enough talking about the Japan trip because honestly, not planning this trip out really at all. Most of my trips, I at least have a couple things I really want to do, but this time don't really have anything in particular that I'm wanting to do. Don't really have any shopping goals. I'm gonna look around for stuff for sure. I'm gonna see if I can find anything in like Book Off or some of the other stores. Mandarake, definitely gonna hit the Mandarake's and see what I can find, but nothing particularly that I absolutely want. Maybe some Mazukatsu Katsura manga if I can find them, like Video Girl at I and Aisu. Um, Maybe what's the name of the other one that he did? What was it? Wingman? It's something man. Darkman? No, it's not Darkman. I think it's Wingman, but it's like a 20 volume series, and it was like the first time he did an actual like it's kind of like a seinen shonen type story, whereas all of his previous stories was like rom com and romance type stories. Um, it actually got like a 12 episode anime, like sure it was over a decade by now, but I have the anime. The manga never came out here, but I might try to find the manga. I would like to get his romance series like in Japanese. I have both of them in English, but they are censored in English. They had nudity in the Japanese version, or at least Aisu I know did, and they censored it in the English releases until like the last couple volumes, I think, and then they stopped censoring it and they just increased the age rating on the Viz manga. So if I can find those in Japanese, I would love to get those. Might be kind of difficult to read because manga and anime from the early 2000s, like the Japanese language is a very evolving language. They use a lot more loan words now, and they use less kanji now for a lot of words. So like even going back like 20 years, 20, 30 years in like media, it would be more difficult to read and watch because the language is different now. So it would be interesting. Those are some manga that I would like to have in Japanese. Eventually, I will have them in Japanese. Um, oh yeah, another thing, I need to finish the manga room next year, so I need to stop doing Japan trips. That way, I can save for that. I need to buy completely new shelves. I'm going to replace all the shelves I have. I'm not sure how I'm going to set up this room exactly yet. I have some ideas on how I want to try to set it up, but we're talking like thousands of manga that need to be organized and stored more efficiently because right now there's like no like I have Japanese manga over here, Japanese manga over here, English manga here. There's no coherent organization to my collection at the moment. So I would love to get that in order. I'm gonna put all the English manga just in one section. Might alphabetize it. I'm not sure. It's difficult because with like English manga, they come in a lot more sizes. You also have hardbacks and stuff. Whereas Japanese manga, there's there's like two or three sizes, but they're all really similar in size, so they can fit on the shelves with each other. Whereas like you have like your single volume Viz stuff, and you couldn't put it side by side with like your big drawn and quarterly manga. If they're even still around, I have some of their manga. Uh, yeah, there's a lot more variance in size of your manga in the English market, and that's one of the reasons I hate English manga. And there's a bunch of omnibus here, but that's a whole nother video discussion. But Japanese manga is a lot more consistent in the sizes that you buy. You have your seinen stuff that's slightly bigger, and then your Kodansha comics is slightly shorter. You're talking about like fraction of an inch shorter than like your Shueisha like jump titles. But even still, like all three of those different sizes, they are very similar. They're like I said, you can put them side by side, and it's mostly fine. It's not that big of a difference in size for your Japanese manga. Definitely not compared to like your English manga, where it's all over the place. Each publisher, there's no uniformity to like English manga. There used to be, it used to be a lot more uniform, but now it's really really hard. English manga either. The paperbacks get so easily damaged. Yeah, in the English manga, there's often like cut content. Like there's a lot of Japanese like manga, like the on the inside of the dust covers there will be artwork, and under the dust covers there will be artwork, and we don't usually get those in the English releases, so we're missing those. There's also things like posters and a lot of Japanese manga. Like here's a Bleach volume, and they usually have tie-ins, and we don't get these whenever they come out in English, but there's tie-ins and there's like posters and there's omake and stuff that come with like Japanese manga for when like movies come out, video games come out. Like we don't get that content in English manga, unfortunately. That and most publishers in English now, there's a huge trend for them going towards omnibus with at least like 2-in-1, sometimes bigger. That seems to be the direction, and hardbacks, those seem to be like getting really popular here in the West and the English market, and I don't like those hardbacks. Just harder to read, and just like I get it, it protects your manga better and stuff, but I don't know, I just don't like them as much at all. And whenever you have the omnibus here, it's like we're missing the covers because they can only choose one of the covers for the front of the omnibus. The Tenjo Tenge got around that a little bit. They would still have the full color cover like halfway through like the English release of the omnibus, and it's okay, I guess, but I still rather have all the single volumes. Because if you want to count, it also comes down to like counting your collection. Like if it's like a 20 volume series and it's like 2-in-1s, it's really only 10 volumes because you only count the spine, you only count one spine at a time, so it lowers your like count for your collection. Oh, I'll be glad when I can just read everything in Japanese without having to look stuff up, because right now my Japanese reading speed is kind of slow. Um, it's also due to my vision. I need to get some glasses. But I still have to look up quite a bit, which is why right now I'm still limiting myself to series like these, like comedies and rom-coms. Kanojo Akaru Shimasu, no Hako Torabu, because those are easier to read. It's easier to look things up. It's easier to, even if you don't understand it, you can infer the meaning if you understand the rest of it. So, yeah. It's getting warm in here with the heater on. It's actually not that cool today. It's actually not that bad. I'm looking forward to the weather in Japan, because right as I leave, like the weather's supposed to get colder here where I live, but Japan's supposed to still be in like the upper 50s, I believe, during the day, and like upper 30s and maybe 40s at night. So looking forward to that. I'm gonna escape the cold, which around here it hasn't been too bad so far, but um, it is supposed to get back code soon, and I do not like the code. But I do want to, speaking of the code, completely contradictory, but I want to go to Hokkaido. I don't think I'll do it this time because it is so cold up in northern Japan, and they get a lot of snow, and I don't want to be around that. So next August, if I am able to make the Japan trip happen, probably going to try to go to Hokkaido. I want to go up there in the summer. Don't really want to visit in the winter because I hate the cold. But yeah, I think I was going to talk about Daima. I'm enjoying Dragon Ball Daima so far, honestly. Like it's pretty good, even though as it goes on, it seems to more and more contradict things, and now it's really seeming like Dragon Ball Super is not the canon anymore, whereas before it seemed like Daima was just gonna fit like before Super, like it was gonna be like all but like the final chapter of End of Z before Oob shows up, because Super happens before the final chapter of Z, and Daima was supposed to happen before Super, and there's just a lot of changes. Like Vegeta, like spoiler alert, but Vegeta just went Super Saiyan in this Super Saiyan 3 in this last episode, and he's never done that in anything else. So why would he not go Super Saiyan 3 and like Super before he learns Blue or anything? There were times where it really would have been beneficial if he would have went like Super Saiyan 3. That's a contradictory, and there's like Supreme Kai and Capito Kai. Like they're separated now, but at the beginning of Super, it's like they come back together and they separate a different way, like the beginning of Super. So that's contradictory as well. So now it's like, what even is the canon to Dragon Ball anymore? Is it like, is Daima and Super gonna be just forgotten about, like alternate stories, kind of like GT is? GT's not really canon, but it's a good like alternate story. Is that what Daima and Super is going to be now? Because the canon is just all over the place, and now Super doesn't really make sense anymore. And don't is Daima going to be the spinoff and Super going to be like the main canon? It's just really weird the direction they're going with all of this. Don't really know how everything is going to tie together, or if there's going to be any coherent like canon for Dragon Ball in the future, or if it's just going to be you have the original story, that's it, and all of these others are just like Elseworld stories. They're going to be like alternate stories. So I also didn't really like Vegeta going Super Saiyan 3, especially how they did it in the Daima anime, because he kind of just it didn't really have any build up or anything. Like whenever Goku went Super Saiyan, even whenever Goku went Super Saiyan 1 in Daima, like there was quite a bit of a build up. Like it showed him doing it, and it's like there was some time for it to set in. Whereas when Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3, it was kind of just like power up Super Saiyan 3. It was almost like a throwaway. Like it wasn't that big of a deal, where I feel like it should have been a bigger deal than what it was. It's like Vegeta going Super Saiyan 3 for the first time, like on camera, it's like that should be a pretty big deal. And I also agree. How would no one else know that he's gone Super Saiyan 3? Like, whenever Goku goes Super Saiyan 3, it's like Gohan can feel him, like, on the Supreme Kai's planet, like, like galaxies away. He's able to feel, like, his power. And it's like Super Saiyan 3 is an incredibly powerful form. It's like if Vegeta went Super Saiyan 3, unless it was like in the hyperbolic time chamber, which is kind of like closed off, I don't see how no one else would have known that he's went Super Saiyan 3. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But again, it's like if Toriyama was truly involved with Daima and like completely planning out the story, he probably forgot about all that. He is notorious for forgetting about story points and forgetting about even whole characters that was insanely popular. He's notorious for that. He doesn't really care about Super. Well, he doesn't care about his story too much, and he just kind of makes it up as he goes along, which is fine. He's great at doing that. He's one of the best at doing that, and somehow keeps it really interesting. Whereas if like some other authors, we probably wouldn't let off the hook with as much as Toriyama was able to get away with. But we've been live for about 30 minutes. My coffee's getting cold. I'm gonna heat that back up, and I need to get busy packing. So I'm gonna probably end the stream here, and I will see you guys later.